Pressure doesn't mean that you're going to get fired. Pressure doesn't mean that, you know what, all of a sudden we're going to think you a scrub or anything like that. Pressure sometimes, it's something as simple as these are the expectations for this season. If they're not met, how much is the eye of the storm going to be pointed in your direction?
I don't think he.
And I think that when it comes to the Indianapolis Colts, I think more so than ever before, it's on Andrew Luck. He's still big time, and I got mad love for him as his game because I've always been a fan of Andrew Luck. I never was on that RG3 bandwagon in terms of him being picked ahead of Andrew Luck. That was never an issue for me. It was always 1-2 in that regard. But here's what I think needs to be important. The first 3 years of Andrew Luck's career, wild card, divisional playoff, AFC championship game, all right? And then after that, obviously, he had to go through the injuries, missed 25 games over the last 2 seasons, whatever. When we looked at Andrew Luck and we thought about his exploits, we had to pay attention to the fact that, damn, that offensive line gave him no protection.
Right.
Grigson, as the general manager, was awful. He needed to go. They did nothing to build around him and to protect him. Chris Ballard, the new GM, can't be accused of that. He's done a fantastic job, all right? In terms of the personnel that he has available to him, the offensive line has been buffered and upgraded. You got a running game. Excuse me. You obviously have a respectable defense. Last year was ranked 10th in the NFL, 8th against the run, about 16th against the pass. You look at what they bring to the table right now in terms of their personnel, and people are looking at them, and they're in the conversation as to what their potential is because of Andrew Luck. So what you're doing is looking at him and saying, okay, the excuses have gone out the window. Not to say that the injuries were an excuse, that's a reason. But I'm saying if you're healthy, when we look at the Indianapolis Colts, if you're healthy, there's nothing wrong with asking Andrew Luck, excuse me, you've been mentioned as one of the elite quarterbacks in this game when you're healthy. What's your problem now? Go get it done. There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't think he has that much pressure on him. He got $87 million, 87 million reasons to just chill, take his time, and get healthy.
It's his career, though.
I mean,
I'm not talking about health. I'm talking about once he's healthy and he gets on the field. That's what I'm talking about.
But I don't think he's going to have any issues because of the style of play that he has. Like the injuries won't be a concern. Him playing won't be a concern. The issues or the thing that I'm worried about is the defense. Okay, the defense was good last year, but this is different now. It's a completely different season. Everybody's retooled, everybody's rebooted, everybody's coming after the throne. So does he have what it takes? That team, not him.
But let me tell you what's disingenuous about your position. D'Angelo Williams was in Carolina.
Yes.
When we watched you in Carolina, it's not right for us to sit back and say, oh, they got a running game. Because we're assuming, excuse me, we watched you produce. So why would we walk into a season and go like this? Well, this is a new season. Let's see. When you go
because it's a different season.
Wait a minute. Well, let me tell you why that's disingenuous. Because when you go to the negotiating table, you don't sit up there and go like this. Well, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. You say this is what I've done. But here are my expectations. Give me my money.
But that's what you guys are here for. You guys are here to be the ones that talk about, oh, what is he going to do this year?
No, I just said you. I just said you in terms of when an athlete goes to when your representatients go to a negotiating table for a contract, it is based and predicated on not only what you will do, but based on what you've done.
What you've done, right?
Wait a minute.
Based on what you've done. No. Not what you could do.
That's not true, D'Angelo.
It's 100% true.
D'Angelo,
if that's the case, they pay players when they come out. They pay players when they come out. If that's the case, why did they get rid of the rookie pay scale and they put them on the scale that they're on right now? If that's the case.
No. What I'm saying to you is that because sometimes you got to sacrifice. If you got football-related income, you got to pay somebody. So sometimes you sacrifice the rookies to take care of the veterans. Don't get me started with that. Collective bargaining is my thing. But my point to you is this.
Collective bargaining is your thing now?
No, right?
I don't mean I've been
that's not what.
That's all I meant by that. But what I'm saying to you, because you was at the negotiating table, not me, but I was recording. So what I'm saying is this.
I appreciate that.
That's right. Yes, absolutely. But here's the deal. When you go to a negotiating, that's why you reacted when he said that. When you go to a negotiating table, if you just rushed for 1,200 yards, you're not asking for money because you rushed for 1,200 yards. You're asking for it because you rushed for 1,200 yards on top of the fact that you can anticipate you're going to do that again. If Andrew Luck is healthy, in my opinion, you make the playoffs, you make a Super Bowl run.
So it doesn't matter what he do statistically, it's what his team do as a whole.
I'm saying, but Of course it matters what he does, because I think what he does statistically will play a role in what they do as a whole.
But I think we just had disagreed on the basis of what the pressure means. And
Okay.
why I say he's under no pressure is I think about it like if you're walking on a tightrope. You're walking on a tightrope that's 3 feet off the ground. There's no pressure because you fall off.
I'm
There's
just
nothing
saying,
wrong.
season to season, what you do is you target a particular individual. Like, for example, we all know what Aaron Rodgers has done throughout his career.
Right. Is there any pressure on him?
But again, yeah, there is some, because only from the standpoint, you show up on the field today with your new head coach. You know, when we look at the Green Bay Packers, there are expectations because you're Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And if they're not met, we're looking at you first. Now, you might have the answers, and as a result, we might lay off you. But the first instinctual move is to look right at you and say, excuse me, Aaron Rodgers, what the hell's going on with the Packers?
But to me, that ain't real pressure because nothing happens. The only real pressure is if you're a player and you're in your contract year, and if you ball, you get paid, or you ball, you get sent home. That's pressure.
There's none.
But let me say this to you. You boys have done, and you fellas, I'm sorry, have both played in the National Football League. You have been teammates with guys that have had jobs, have had contracts, and felt immense pressure because the public scrutiny coming in their way is something that's tough to take, because you knew the eye of the storm would be on you if things didn't go right. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.